What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. Good morning. Good morning. It is 10:04. We are here for some coffee talk, y'all. Do y'all have your coffees, teas, matchas, um, smoothies, and things ready and getting prepared? It's for this week. How y'all feeling? Cold. Who asked for it? It's a little cold out here for a pimp. I didn't ask for this. I don't know, oh, my mic is not on. I don't know, good morning, T. Is it cold? I mean, I guess if it's cold here, it got to be cold there. We were at 70, 80 degrees yesterday, and it was a beautiful day, and we was outside smiling and everything. Then, the clouds came, and it got a little rainy, and now it's cold again. Dang. I'm tired of it already. For us, this 40, 50 degrees stuff is not cute. Yesterday, okay, so last week I was very sick from, I would call it an allergy infection from the pollen that I decided to go breathe in for no good damn reason. And so once I cleaned the yard, I know y'all are tired of me talking about this, but I cleaned the yard. Damn groundhog. He affecting all of us. Yeah, so I cleaned the yard. The leaves came, messed up everything. So the kids raked the leaves back up for me. But when I'm have these leaves raked in a pile, then I mow them down to mulch because I can use the mulch for various reasons. You know what I'm saying? So I went out there yesterday because I knew it was gonna rain, and I was like, they didn't raked up this pile, and if I don't mulch this thing down now, this is gonna be a problem later. So I did it. I mulched it up, I raked it up, and I came in the house. I took a shower, drank some tea, and I start medicating. So I feel pretty good today, aside from the cold. But maybe it's a little snap. I don't have to go anywhere. So yeah, hopefully y'all are not, too damn cold like I'm too damn cold. Anyway, we could get into the things. We could start with the good things because that's where we like to start. I'm not talking about no Epstein files. I'm not talking about the Grand Wizard in charge. I don't want to do that today. Let's just skip over them. For the most part, wasn't a whole lot of entertainment news, but that's okay because we don't always be over here for the entertainment. We want to talk about some of the great things that are going on. So we're going to start with this young lady here. Let me pull my things up so I can get it together. Um, Declane Lopez. Isn't she adorbs? Isn't she just the cutest little thing? Well, McLean, let's talk about what she was over here doing. Meet Declane Lopez, a gifted 6-year-old from New Jersey who scored 138 on her IQ test, a score often associated with Albert Einstein. That's their smart fave. Her achievements earned her entry into Mensa, placing her among the top percentile of young minds worldwide. Did y'all ever hear that Einstein might be, a POC? I heard that was it Einstein or was it Beethoven? One of these people that they love so much. Anyway, her achievements earned her entry into Mensa, placing her among the top percentile of young minds worldwide. But this moment is bigger than a test score. It's about recognizing brilliance in Black girls early. It's about nurturing potential instead of overlooking it. It's about making sure gifted Black children have access to resources, mentorships, and environments they deserve. Representation in intelligence spaces matter. Declane's story reminds us that Black excellence begins young and it belongs everywhere. I mean, shout out to this young lady. I feel like a lot of young girls are probably very smart. Good morning, John Tony. Um, but don't have access, to some of the things. STEM is a big program, in science and technology and mathematics. And so we need to make sure our kids have access. If you're going through the public school system, unfortunately, they won't have any access. They won't even have accurate information. They have educators that can't really teach the truth. And they have educators who are not okay with being questioned about things. And I feel like when you have a young person questioning you, it's your job to go find out the information instead of telling them they was an outside slave or they was an inside slave, because that's the only thing they want us to know. They only want us to know about how we have a history of just being slaves because we're not good enough. And then that stuff plays into colorism, all the things that we deal with, as Black folks now. So it needs to start early. This young lady is 6 years old and she already knows in her mind that, greatness is in front of her. And maybe Albert Einstein ain't the bar. You know what I'm saying? They making it seem like Albert Einstein is, I'm not taking away from his genius. To be honest, I haven't really studied much about Albert Einstein. I just know that he's the bar in which smartness in this country is gauged. But maybe now we can go ahead and decide that decline might be the bar. Let's make decline the bar. If you ain't making moves at 6 years old the way this young lady is, maybe you should go put in more work. And parents, please step up. Like, even if you don't know, we have access to the internet just like everybody else does, and investigate and go find sources and show your kids how to do that. Just because they have a computer, don't let them stop at Google. Make them look further and further and ask questions. When I was teaching, I would just ask questions to my students. If they had an answer, I would be like, why? Why is that the case? We could keep going on this journey of discovery until you have as much information as you need in that moment. So yeah, shout out to Young Declain. We got another one. 17-year-old Black girl makes moves in medical history. Let's talk about Ashanti. Ain't no questions. We got a Black girl with a Black name. Let's start reveling, celebrating that too. You know what I'm saying? We celebrating around here. I don't know what they think is going on. Crackers. Sorry, I woke up with a bad case of Tourette's this morning. And so if I shout out crackers, I'm sorry. I ain't mean it. Anyway, at just 17 years old, Ashanti, known as Dr. Nurse, has completed 200 plus clinical hours and earned national recognition in the medical field. Her goal, cardiac surgeon, and she's already putting in the work. Faith, discipline, determination. This is what purpose looks like in motion. We love to see young Black women claiming their space in STEM early and boldly. Yeah, we got her out here, a future doctor. And when we look at like Married to Medicine, I know it's a TV show with a lot of foolishness over there. But when you look at like Dr. Contessa, who has all of those, skills and degrees and things under her belt, this lady can fly a helicopter, airplane. You know what I'm saying? There's just the sky is the limit as long as you believe that. When you have young kids growing up in what they like to call urban environments, they're not exposed to things and they don't have parents. Blueface and Krishan is the mamas and daddies of children. So I don't know what y'all want to do with that. We can't all be great. But when we have young people that are at a low income situation, and the way the world is working right now, that's most of us is over here at low income. You know what I'm saying? Middle class don't exist, or it's very, very few. You know what I'm saying? Because based on what we saying, middle class, what used to be middle class, they struggling, child. So what we doing over here is surviving good times, I guess. Anyway, when you have kids like in areas that are not exposed to these kind of things, mentor your community. When you see young kids like maybe not having the best situation at home, sometimes the teachers are their only inspiration, their only light. And I'm very big on educating our own. My daughter told me, and it was far after she left elementary school, she told me that one of the teachers used her as an example against another Black girl. Now, this is how this shit starts. It's elementary school, so this is somewhere 4th, 5th grade. She uses them both as an example. Mind you, my daughter she's not light skinned, she's not dark skinned, she's in the middle somewhere. And so she was used as a house slave and compared the other little girl as an outside slave. I don't know who this child is, and she didn't tell me about this too far after. It's probably a good thing she didn't tell me, because then I would probably be under arrest for snatching that teacher up by her collar. But you creating a situation for two people to now feel some type of way about each other that didn't ask to be brought into this. There's no way students should be used as an example of what inside and outside. So slaves is slaves. I feel like nobody was at any type of advantage. You know what I'm saying? You could look at things in terms of being outside in the heat, and and if you outside in this Florida heat for any type of 5 seconds, you can understand what the torturous that would be to be out in the fields, picking cotton or whatever, the slave master was over there growing. But being inside then made you susceptible to, Epstein. Your kids is susceptible, you're susceptible. So there's no good side to either thing. But they, of course, want us to feel some type of way about each other to keep us divided. But, I'm on a whole nother tangent. Anyway, let's keep our kids motivated as much we can, as talk about young ladies like this. If you have a young 17-year-old, that hasn't made a decision about what they want to do, or even 13, 14 before they get there, this makes a difference. Just being able to look at this young lady and see themselves in her and start to aspire to do other things, and not let Krishan and Blueface be the only example that your kids is. And some parents, speaking of which, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I changed my mind. This is not the kind of parenting that's going to inspire your child. I just ran across this before I came over here. And so what do y'all think about this as parents? Is this how we supposed to do our children? Let's see. Oh, I thought I had it. I must have deleted it because I thought, oh, no, I know what to do. Hold on a second. Sorry, y'all. That's what I get for switching up. Anyway, while y'all are waiting, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend. We can come over here, every morning and enjoy these types of conversations. So let's try it again. So this young lady, just for y'all that are listening and can't see, apparently her baby broke her glasses. So her response was to then break the baby's glasses.
I just got these fixed. Don't break myself, and I won't break yours. Yes, I'm this petty. I don't care. I just got these fixed. Don't break myself, and I won't break yours. Yeah.
What is the lesson in this? Let's see what some of the people are saying. All you can do is teach them. All you can do to teach them is show them exactly how it feels. Is that what you think? I can't say this enough. I can't believe the new adults. I love it. Some of the people are in favor of it. This my kind of gentle parenting. No whooping involved, but the lesson. But that lesson sting. Is that it? Is that what y'all think? I feel like that was cruel and unnecessary. I feel like there was no lesson learned there. Babies understand quite clearly. It would have been so much easier to have a conversation, a real conversation. They understand by the tone. How about saying, that's not okay. Now, mommy is sad because you broke her glasses. And maybe take her glasses away. So since you broke mine, we're going to put yours over here, for a while till you learn that you don't touch things that don't belong to you. There's so many better ways. I feel like now you're just teaching the little kid, like the little baby, break my shit, I'll break yours too. And now we on some, tit for tat type situation. I'm not a fan of it. I don't feel like these two great young ladies that we just talked about got in that position um, by having ignorance, as parenting. Y'all need to do better. And then for the people in the comments that are, supporting it, it's a testimony to where we at, I guess. Um, we talk the further away we get from the stupider we get on Black Jesus. Oh, okay. I thought you was talking about yourself. Oh my God. Hey, some girly stranger. What's your opinion? That might just teach them pettiness and yes, I agree. Some girly stranger. That's not teaching them, how to behave in a proper manner. It's teaching them, like you said, vengeance. And they understand. Good morning, Motown investor. So yeah, I don't know. I wish we could do better. I mean, all we can do is be better examples. And that's why teachers and educators, aunts, uncles, cousins, all of us that, I think we all got that cousin, you know what I'm saying? Or that, friend. So be a mentor to your community. That's the only way it's going to help. These kids can look up to things other than, sometimes your mama and daddy ain't the one you need to be looking up to. So anyway, we go from a young doctor to some foolishness over here. How do y'all feel about this? I'm not surprised. I follow these little Instagram pages that show you healthy ways to live, natural ways to medicate and take care of yourselves. But, we cannot trust the FDA. That's for damn sure. I'm trying to pull it up, but my phone want to be ignorant. So let me see. Bear with me. Here we go. So this is what they're doing over here. Didn't Kennedy's son take over this department? We should have knew it was going. I'm sure we did know it was going to be a mess when that happened. But the FDA plans to drop 2 study requirements for new drug approvals. Really? Why is that? Why are they dropping it? I feel like it was there for a reason. The Food and Drug Administration. Remember when we used to look at the FDA as some kind of stamp of approval? Now we looking at it like, let me just check myself because y'all on some bullshit. The Food and Drug Administration plans to change a long-standing rule that requires drug makers to conduct 2 major studies before receiving approval for new medications. Moving forward, the agency's default position will require only 1 study for new drugs and other innovative health products. FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty McCary says the change is designed to reduce bureaucracy and speed up the access to new treatments. Officials argue that advances in science and research methods now make it possible to rely on strong study along with supporting evidence rather than repeating trials. Is it me, or does it seem like we've got young ladies over here 6 years old breaking Einstein's record, or at least matching it, and then we got young 17-year-olds over here, already passing clinicals in order to become a surgeon? And does it seem like they dumbing things down just for the crackers? Sorry, I told y'all that might happen today. Just for them to be able to get along easily. The 2-study standard dates back to the 1960s and was meant to ensure results could be confirmed and were not due to chance. However, in recent years, the FDA has already approved many drugs for serious or rare diseases based on a single study. Over the past 5 years, about 60% of their first kind of drugs were cleared this way. Ugh, I'm sure I didn't relay that the right way. 60% of first of their kind drugs were cleared this way. Now I feel better. Former FDA drug director Dr. Janet Woodcock said the shift reflects modern scientific progress, but noted that how the policy is carried out will be key. While the change could lead to faster drug development, questions remain about how consistently the FDA will apply the new approach. They won't. They've been bought. That's clear. They don't care nothing about pockets. And we talked the other day about how the insurance companies are all tied in with this foolishness. So the pharmaceutical people are going to push through their drugs, and they're going to talk to insurance people and make sure, certain shit is covered, first and fast. What y'all saying? T said, especially under this administration, he wants to have one vaccine for blacks and other for whites. I got a remedy for that. I'll pass. Unless I'm going through, some trusted, medical. Nothing from their vats of medicine. You good, y'all, Tony? We're going to be drinking that honey and lemon and a little bit of prayer. I don't know. I watched that. It wasn't a documentary. I guess it was more like a docu series based on true story type situation. But it was based on I think it was oxycodone and how they pushed it through, so fast, and how the guy that, was the person that you needed to go through, he eventually got bought off, and they were pushing those drugs through. Everybody was strung out on oxys. And then, by the time they had to dial it back, the money had been made. Good morning, Elsid. I don't know. This is just another one of those things that... Did Dr. Sebi write a book? Can we find some other alternatives? Because, yeah, but they want... Listen... T, you said they want different drugs for everybody. We're going to talk about how we can absolutely go ahead and segregate. If that's what y'all want, Before we get into that, let's talk about this clown right here. So Stephen A. Smith, he said he wanted to be a run for president in 28, as if. Who told him that? Anyway, Stephen A. Smith calls out Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett for ducking his interview. I've invited you on my show a multitude of times. You sit down and talk to everybody else. You scared of what I'm going to ask? Ain't nobody scared of you. Don't you have a football, basketball game or something to go watch, Stephen A. Smith? Why in the world would you think that Jasmine owes you any type of conversation? We don't want it. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants to see you sit up here and tear down somebody that's out here screaming at the top of her lungs on our behalf. So yeah, that ain't what we want. What are the people saying? Let's see what some of the comments are. Do y'all want to see Stephen A. Smith and Jasmine Crockett? No. People say ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. I would give that a no. She don't owe him an interview. She can talk to whoever she wants. She has no reason to talk to a sports show hack, especially one that's against the culture. They don't want you, Stephen. She's on a more important path than Stephen A. Smith. Sir, you don't deserve the ratings. Move along. That's how I feel about it. I feel like Stephen is over here trying to use Jasmine to, boost his ratings. Girl, please don't go over there. The people said don't waste your time with him. Ugh, he disgusts me. Why don't he call, what's his homegirl, Candace Owens? Why don't he call her and see what she got going on? Maybe she wants to talk to him and they could kick it. Why don't he call Nicki Minaj? Cracker. Sorry, not really. So speaking of Tourette's, this happened. Oh, Hollywood, y'all be, fake, fake woke for real. So Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindow were in the middle of a presentation at the BAFTA Awards. I believe BAFTA is British Academy of Film and Arts. I think that's what it's called. Jamie Foxx dropped by the neighborhood to share his thoughts on John Davidson screaming the N word while Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were presenting at the BAFTAs. So, yeah, this guy, what's his name? John Davison apparently suffers from Tourette's and has some movie, he was being honored for, over there at BAFTA, but took it to his, uh, disorder to be screaming out nigga. I'm not going to say the N word. He didn't say N word. He said nigga. So this is what happened.
I'm delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate.
I played it twice because I wanted to make sure y'all hear that. Jamie Foxx said, nah, he meant that ish. Out of all the words that you could have said, Tourette's makes you say that. Unacceptable. That's what Jamie said. You know what I say? Cracker! That's what I say. Because why? Why exactly are we saying that? Like, like I said, he has Tourette's. We're not going to take that away from him. It's a condition. I've been around folks with Tourette's too, Elsid, and sometimes they say nasty words, but what it is they say what's on their mind, and it just comes out. You know what I'm saying? It's not random. I feel like if you feeling somewhere and you're like, shit, man, I might have Tourette's. Cracker! Just saying. Sometimes you yell out things that are on your mind. And, it's not to cause any harm to anyone. It's just what had happened. Sinners production designer Hannah Batchelor said the N-word was shouted out 3 times that evening. So she said that throwaway apology, I guess the man came over there and said sorry. She said they ain't trying to hear it. Jamie ain't trying to hear it. She's not trying to hear it. What was said? She said, I keep trying to write about what happened at the BAFTAs and I can't find the words. This situation is almost impossible, but it happened 3 times that night. And one of the 3 times was directed at myself on the way to the dinner after the show. Oh, so he was just nigga all night long? Did he did he yell it to every nigga he saw? Okay, apparently so, Elson. He was yelling it at this lady too. Not on the way in, but on the way out. She said, and a 3rd time at a black woman. Yep, he was running around calling everybody niggas. We not going to say N-word today. I understand and deeply know why this is an impossible situation. I know we must handle this with grace and continue to push through. But what made the situation worse was the throwaway apology. If you were offended. Cracker! I love saying cracker. Anyway, and I'm blaming it on my temporary condition this morning. Y'all, don't be mad at me. I'm not saying the N-word. We're not saying that. He didn't say it. I ain't gonna say it. So there you go. At the end of the show, of course, we were offended, but our frequency, our spiritual vibration is tuned into a higher level than what happened. I am not still. This is not a bounce off of me, but I exist above it. It can't take away from who I am as an artist. I mean, and it shouldn't. She should be very proud of her accomplishments, and we know better. It's just the fact that they be out here trying to, come up with these nonsensical excuses. You know what I mean? And then sorry if you were offended. You know what you was doing. You was walking around that room calling people niggas. Can we put a muzzle on this man? I mean, can we? Since he has a propensity to say inappropriate things. If negates the apology. You know why? Because he is not sorry. And so we ain't sorry either. I don't know who he is, but, this is what we doing now. We over here screaming out. This administration just has people on fuck around and find out. We gonna say that too. Like at some point, I don't know how my patience is working, especially in the grocery store. So I'll have to tell y'all about the day I had to slap a lady in the face with a bag of lettuce. It was an accident. It was like Tourette's in my arm. Shoot. She I'm gonna tell the story right quick. So I'm in the store and I'm perusing the vegetables. I'm trying to figure out, which one of these containers of salad that I want to, of lettuce that I want to take and purchase. And she just started rummaging in front of me like I wasn't standing there. So I had a bag of lettuce in my hand. And when I made my decision, when I pulled my arm back, it had just happened to slap her in the face. And she looked at me and she decided to walk on. And I was like, I think I was on the phone with T. I was like, girl, I got to get out of here because I need to go home because I done just slapped this lady in the face with a bag of lettuce. But, don't start none, won't be none. That's all I have to say. There's like this weird conversation, I think, sometimes about segregation and, the negativity of it all. And I personally feel I don't feel like it's negative for me. And I'm gonna tell you why. Actually, I'm gonna let this lady tell you, and then we could get into the conversation a little bit more. Segregation, if you want to come to the cookout, bring your cookout card that needs to be issued. You know what I'm saying? You have to go through a process. And then, we will decide, we as the POCs will decide if you have earned your cookout card. Because, some people be infiltrating the cookout. So if you got your card, it's fine and good. We love allies. But, for the rest of y'all, I don't see the point. So let's listen to what this wisdom had to say.
Gave up. We gave up and just, our restaurants, we had restaurants, inns, and when we could go to their inns, then we forgot that man. In fact, I've had friends to call colored restaurants. The one that I'd go to this evening, if I was taking New York for dinner, I'd go to it. They call it the Greasy Spoon now. They came to, I don't understand us. That's the part I don't understand. We don't have enough race pride. That's what I see.
History has never just been about what happened. It's about what's been told, and more importantly, what's been left out. For centuries, Black history has been clipped down to pain, chained to struggle, and packaged neatly between slavery and civil rights. But that's not our beginning, and it's certainly not our whole story. Most of us were taught a version of Black history that was incomplete at best. We didn't learn about Queen Zinga, Mansa Musa, or thriving communities like Black Wall Street. We missed out on the brilliance, the innovation, and the power that shaped the world. That's why Black History Unlocked created the history books forgot to say we were more than enslaved.
Yeah, I love that ad. I play it so, I can remind myself and, all of us who are there that that's an option, especially for us grandmamas, you know what I'm saying, to make sure our young grandchildren are getting started with the real shit. So when they do get into the school system, they're not misled by the foolishness. What'd you say, Elsa? I need someone to come out and say he does this all the time to Black folks. Otherwise, I side-eye this. He probably does do it all the time. I mean, do he walk around saying cracker? When he around white folks? I doubt it. I doubt it. Maybe because this movie Sinners got so many nominations and it's being, put out here in such a way, positively, at least for us. Have y'all seen Sinners? I haven't seen it yet. I said it's on my, on my list of things to do, but then my weekend, gets caught up and I'll miss out. But I definitely want to see it before the award show. It's award season, so they'll be on these red carpets. Have you ever seen that video? And I didn't look it up, of Delroy Lindo telling the man, like, say the N word, say it. And he was all scared. I'm not saying it. Well, this nigga's saying it. So, I mean, what are the consequences? I don't know. He gets to say he has Tourette's, and so he didn't mean to. You watched it with members? I'm going to have to go ahead and watch it, Elson, because, I hate to get over to the Academy Awards, which I probably won't watch. I'll watch the awards. I'll watch the red carpet and then I check out. But I don't want to like be over here in this space during award season and I haven't seen the Black films that are being discussed. I want to see the one with Tiana. I haven't seen that one either. I know she was nominated or she won a Golden Globe, so we'll see what happens over here. I want to watch her movie too. We all know why the racist white boy screams. It ain't all of them, but it's always them. Listen, no, it's not all of them, but he has been doing this for probably his whole life. And then using just because you have a condition doesn't mean you're not racist. Come on. They all know it. And then, for her to say he was walking around doing it, he did it 3 times as she heard. So that means he did it, 12 times. They didn't like Center's message. Of course not. Of course not. So, I miss like not just the NAACP, but I miss the days where we used to have, Black Miss USA and all of those things that, we could see ourselves back in the Ebony Fashion Fair Jet magazine days. What was it? Jet, Ebony. We need that back. Bring it on back. Bring on back obviously I still like magazines. I think y'all better get some type of media in your household because we don't never know when they're going to snatch it away. YouTube was down for a good 2 hours, I think, last week. So for all the content creators, I wasn't affected necessarily, but for all the content creators that are making money off of YouTube and planning to go live that night, they couldn't do it because, something got snatched. So, we need to have some media in our households so that when the shit gets snatched, we have access to information. What you say, T? It's kind of like the Super Bowl. You can't go online and people will break down the hidden eggs. I appreciate them breaking down the hidden eggs, and it's wild that we have to be so subliminal in order to just tell, like, even with that particular Super Bowl, the whole thing was he didn't speak English. That's what they want to make us believe. They were really concerned about his truth. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it wasn't just them. It's some of the Latina and Latino Americans that, have issues within their own culture. What you say, Motown investor? The cinematography in Sinners was mesmerizing, better than the actual plot. I'm gonna get into it. Maybe I'll try to watch it this week, and then by Thursday we can have a discussion and we can break things down or get inform each other on the breakdown. So yeah, I do want to talk about it before the Academy Awards. What you say? I got kicked out of NAACP chapter of your college. Ooh, now that sounds like a members only. Can we get that? Can we get a members only on that story? I would love to hear the details of that. Elcid is gonna say it like she mean it. I appreciate that. And she come at you super intelligently. So don't play. You better ask Elcid. That's all I know. Okay, back to segregation and in a positive way. Because I don't hate it. I posted on my Instagram the other day where all the Black people, are pretty much populated in this country. It's mostly over here in the South. That's something I always look for when I decide to go somewhere. Oh, we were talking about Jasmine Crockett. Let me let this lady speak right quick before we get into this last story.
This is just your friendly reminder that in the state of Texas, early voting has started, dear, for that Senate race, and we want Jasmine Crockett in there. You can feel any way you want to about James Tallarico today, but who we want in the Senate is Jasmine Crockett, okay? Okay, just go do the thing, baby. Go do the thing and vote for the educated Black woman, okay? Don't make the same fucking mistake, baby. Do not make the same mistake, honey. Well. This is just
She sounds like homegirl from Designing Women. Claudia Jordan is in the comments. She lives in Texas. She says it's been so quiet that I almost didn't know the primaries were now. Early voting has begun in Texas, and I'll be going today to cast my vote for Jasmine for U.S. Senate. Will you fellow Texans join me in supporting the candidate that will fight for us at all and actually cares about the Constitution? We need more Dems in Congress with this type of courage and passion. Let's do the right thing this time, Texas. Will you support her? I hope so. Also, they're making it so hard for us to vote. It's not even funny. Jasmine got these people shook. It's a must to get her in there. Yeah, I donated to her campaign and $5, but $5 here, $5 there. And that was the first time I've ever donated. And I'm not even in Texas, but I feel like a Jasmine in Texas, makes way for somebody over here. We got Dennings over here, and we have a Black woman running for governor over here. So I'll be, child, get your passports. So now, in order to vote, it's my understanding that you're going to have your driver's license and your passport or your birth certificate. And your birth certificate needs to have the same name as your driver's license. So if you're married to someone, then that may be an issue. So if you don't have your passport, get your passport in case we have to get the hell out of here. And that's on God. Yeah, my birth certificate. So this is the story in Michigan. I don't know. I didn't know Texas is the reason for Juneteenth to last to catch on. It doesn't surprise me, Anyway, so my birth certificate has my mother and father weren't married, so all these different rules back in the day. My mother's birth certificate is so trash because a midwife who couldn't spell, was putting in the information. So nothing, me and T were looking at the birth certificate, child. Ain't nothing spelled right. Not her name, not the year, not nothing. My mother went through her life not quite sure whether she was born in 30 or 31. That's how bad it was. Yeah, my birth certificate, my parents weren't married. So it has my mother's name, her ex-husband's name, and my father's last name is written in. And so I already know that when I go to vote, that's going to be an issue. It's been an issue, for SATs, and I have my driver's license and both names are the same. You know what I'm saying? But child, get your passports if you got time. Because even if it's too late to vote, it's not too late for us to get the hell out of here if we have to. What you say, Elsa? Same for my great grandmother. Didn't know her real date of birth. Isn't that wild? And when I tell you the misspelling, because this is what happens. T will go down the ancestry.com journey rabbit hole, and then she will call me and ask me for things. And like I said, I'm the holder of all the paperwork. I don't know how, like I said, that happened. Probably, because of my mother. But, we sit up and we try to verify these things and, get the accuracy of who was where and when. And yeah, my mother's birth certificate is so bad, child. It's a wonder she did know her own name. Yeah, so let's talk about this before we get out. Segregation away from crackers. Sorry, I'm gonna see if this hot tea does anything for my temporary case of Tourette's. But yeah, this story. Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, founder of Bethune-Cookman University, purchased a beach in Florida in the 1940s to provide recreational space for Black people. I mean, how does she even do that? Because, they were trying to hold us down. Anyway, the beach was originally named Bethune-Volusia Beach. It was the first beach that Black Americans were allowed to use during the first half of the 20th century. We can't even use the beach, child. Bethune planned to sell oceanfront lots to Black buyers and host summer classes for college. Nearly 800-foot beachfront property allowed patrons to own beachfront land in the United States. That is so dope. Bethune approached, I live here and I didn't even know this. Bethune approached architect and developer Dr. Dana F. Fuqua about purchasing a 2.5-mile strip of the land south of New Smyrna Beach. Fuqua owned most of the land along the Intercoastal Waterway in Volusia and Flagler. I really want to know more. Who is Fuqua? Is she a white woman? In need of investors, Bethune used her influence to arrange a meeting at Rogers Hotel in Tampa with some of the wealthiest Black Americans in Florida. On December 9th, 1945, the Bethune-Volusia Beach Corporation was formed. Yeah, we got to get our money together in order to make things happen. The charter member included President Dr. G.D. Rogers, Executive Vice President Mr. George W. Powell, Vice President Dr. W.H. Gray, Secretary Mr. James A. Colston, and Treasurer Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. The beach quickly became a popular vacation destination for Black Americans from all over the United States. During the July 4th celebration in 1950, over 5,000 people came out to enjoy the festivities. Bethune-Volusia Beach was open to all races, though ownership of the land and business was retained solely by Black Americans. So she did not say y'all can't come to the cookout. She just said bring your cart. Make sure you on the up and up. Following the passage of the Civil Rights Act in 1964, the beach lost popularity and many visitors, particularly those from outside of the state, stopped coming as other beach options became available for Black people to visit. However, Mary McLeod Bethune Beach Park has remained open to the public to this day. Okay, so that's someplace that I definitely want to take my family to. That's wild. And just like the lady said, we don't have enough race pride. Y'all left Bethune Beach to go to other places. Mr. Dana Fuqua, Dana was the 13th architect to be licensed in Florida. Okay. So Dana is, a man. I'm guessing he was Black. She got together all these other Black, wealthy people, to invest in the beach. But yeah, y'all. So it seems like every time segregation comes up, it's not for the bad. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we end up on the better end of things. Just like Idlewild here in Inkwell in Massachusetts. We got to do better. And like I said, I live here. I know about Bethune-Cookman College, but I did not know about the beach. But I bet you I'm going to put it on my bucket list for this summer. So that's what we're going to do with the family and the kids. We're going to go to Bethune, Volusia Beach. It's on the East Coast, like where Daytona is. So it's not my favorite part of the water, the beaches, but a day at the beach is a day at the beach. His history is all over Daytona Beach too. Well, maybe we need to go visit Daytona Beach. And when I say me, I mean me. Because there's a lot of Black history here in Florida that, we don't. I was in white spaces, so I wasn't learning. You have Chicken Bone Beach in Atlantic City. Heck yeah. He was owner of the Flagler Hotel too. Elsie, did you used to live here, or is your brain just full of all this information? Oh, I appreciate it though. So yeah, y'all. Segregation, I feel like, is not necessarily the worst thing. I feel like I follow my community page. So this happened over the weekend here. The Walmart, my neighborhood Walmart, where I do and have done a lot of my grocery shopping. 3 young men were in there, and this is probably going to be a national story. So if you haven't already heard about it, you probably will. 3 young men were in the store shoplifting, and armed. So, and this is why I do my grocery shopping in the morning, child. You get in there in the evening and then it gets a little crazy. Anyway, 3 young men were in the store stealing, and theft prevention approached them. They took off running. One of them was running with his firearm in hand, and he was pow-powed 7 times, and he's 16 years old. Now, this kid, they done pulled up all the information. When I tell you the community page don't play, I saw video footage with the man still laying on the floor. I seen things that, I didn't even have to see. And then you go in that store and then you look at that spot like, oh, damn, that's where that kid was just laying. 16 years old, shot 7 times, pow-pow 7 times. The community page goes back and forth. Like I've told y'all, this is a very highly populated Hispanic community. So we have the regular community page and we have the Black community page. And so I'm a member of both. But when I tell you these Latinos who, identify are white identifying, they carried on about how, oh my God, good, getting the criminal off the street. He shouldn't have been in there with a pow-pow. And I'm like, 7 times though, this officer fired off 7 times with people in the store. They said, people obviously running out of the store, except for the ones who decided to stand there and still film whatever they could be filming. The mother posted, or I don't know if it was the mother or somebody that knows the mother, like posted his football pictures and, because, she sees her baby as her baby. And like, and just because you have a troubled child doesn't mean that you don't love him anymore. So then, of course, the people did the investigating and found his Facebook page with him posting with pow-pows and things of that nature. I'm not trying to say that this kid didn't deserve to be, caught. All I'm saying is 7 times. Good Lord, what was happening? That's a lot. That's a lot. 1 is enough. 2 is a lot. Why are we pow-powing at somebody 7 times in a crowded grocery store? So, yeah, the community page keeps it popping. And then the Black community page, of course, was like, why do these, all these Hispanic people think they're white? It was an ongoing conversation. Because if you are not a member of your next door or in your area or your community page in your area, it's always like, I can tell you when the traffic is thick and, the conversations are interesting. I never take myself in there. Only time I've ever posted in the community page is when I lost somebody when I found somebody's dog. And I was like, hey, is this somebody's dog? And, I told y'all that dog found its way back home. But I say all that to say the population here is highly Hispanic, although there is also a decent amount of Black folks. So we don't support each other enough. Like the lady said, it's not enough pride. It's not that hard. When I see Black food trucks, I know by my salon, there used to be a Jamaican restaurant. They removed the lady. She had been over there for years, but, they revoked her lease renewal. So she's no longer there, but I don't eat lunch down there, but I will always patronize her business because it was the only Black business downtown. And I love Jamaican food, so that wasn't hard. But, I would go over there, get a beef patty snack or take home, jerk chicken dinners to my family. I patronized her business, solely for the most part, because that's what they do. And I'm not, they in a negative way. I think you should support, your community at large, but we need to do better because there was a time when we were doing great. On that note, y'all, I'm going to check out. I hope y'all enjoyed the coffee talk this morning. I'll be back later this evening to talk about these Real Housewives of Potomac. Dang it, that reunion is 3 episodes. I was hoping this was the last one, but I didn't do episode 1. So we're going to do episode 1 and 2 of this reunion. I'll be back tonight at 7. In the meantime, y'all, enjoy the rest of your day. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.